At the age of 12, my life has already seen lots of ups and downs, from having enough friends in my life to keep me happy to having to go back and forth from my dad's and mom's houses. All I heard was constant insults between the two about each other. It was stupid. Nonetheless, I needed a place where I could really just think for myself, a place where I wouldn't have to worry about telling the other parent something, and most importantly, what I should be thinking and doing. The shots you're about to see are of me in first person, showing what I saw taking the SkyTrainer car to this getaway, this peaceful place, my Kyokai. The Kyokai I attended is located in Surrey on 128th Street. The church itself is named as you can see. Every Sunday from ages 12 to 14, my mom would make me attend this Japanese church group calling themselves the Mennonite Japanese Christian Fellowship. The services were led by Takehiko Yoshiyuki, but we all just called him Yoshi. Which, fun fact, was what people called my mom. Yoshi and his family unfortunately left for Japan in 2008, so now the church is led by a different pastor. Which is why I don't have any significant pics of him, or else I would. Anyway, what made listening to what he and others had to say difficult was the fact they only spoke Japanese. No one who attended this church, adult or child, knew English besides my mom and I. That made the services and activities to me irrelevant, and my anger and confusion about me being there grew every week. The person who attempted to convince me the most about the Lord's way was Yoshi's wife, Mari. Mari definitely meant well, but pointing to the Bible and saying, "Jesus is good, listen to Jesus," since it was a few of the English words she knew, just wasn't enough to keep me interested. But what these times led to was the opportunity to start thinking for myself. While I never stayed inside due to the amount of Japanese people approaching me, trying to talk to me in this foreign language, I went on walks around the campus, really just listening to the music and figuring out what I should accomplish. Attending this church started a few of my future hobbies, playing the drums and parallel universe theory. You would have guessed that, I know. My interest in parallel universes was due to the amount of time I spent wondering why I'm here and thinking about wondering if I took the time to learn Japanese, I'd be having fun and exploring the world of Christianity. Of course, thinking back at it, I'm super glad I didn't go down that path, but it made me curious to what if. Maybe instead of being in an actual band in the future, I would have been in a Christian rock band. Gross. While attending this church, the rec center building across from the Kyokai was sometimes used for the services, and downstairs was used as the nursery. Since being upstairs would have either made me sleep or confused me, I ventured downstairs for most of my time, either experimenting with the different dinky instruments or walking outside listening to music. The music I listened to at this time, for lack of a better term, was rock. Like many kids at my age, the emo punk music was all the rage. Bands like Fall Out Boy, Billy Talent, Green Day, and Blink-182 mainly stuck in my ears. But thanks to old CD binders Mari left around the basement for some reason, I got some of my first listens to classics like The Beatles, She loves you, yeah. She loves you. Beach Boys, Christmas comes this time each year, and Queen. Like a lot of church services, they did sing some songs. What was most interesting about the songs they sung was not only were they always in Japanese, but there would be a person on piano, acoustic guitar, 3 singers, a low-key drummer, and sometimes a violinist. I really enjoyed those parts of the service if I was in attendance because it simply influenced me to try those instruments on my own. Reflecting on the self-realizations I made during my time outside the center and Kyokai made me feel full, but I could always eat more. My head was full of worry most of the time because of the fear of having to hear my phone go off and listening to my dad say, "I'm outside, tell your mom this," or vice versa. Yep, till this day I can't help but feel a little anxious when I hear someone calling my phone just because of the trauma I truly felt waiting for one of my parents to call. When I was not worrying about that, my mind would flutter to the nearest cool-looking tree or that I saw, or this interesting Japanese kid's words, because at the time I thought it was still a cool language to hear, regardless if I knew what he meant or not. All those kids could have just been talking about me poorly every day I was there, for all I know. But of course, I didn't think about that at the time. I just waved, they waved back, I progressed. Into the safe but mostly damp woods. To summarize what I learned and experienced while at this Kyokai is simply nothing I should have. Nothing about getting to know the people there, about the religion being talked about, or even about the language it was spoken in. Yep, I managed to attend something that could have academically changed who I was and even the way I thought. Instead, I believe I learned something more, things that perfectly shaped who I came to be. Pursuing music taught me to relax and be okay with being judged. Going on walks, or what I called adventure times, taught me to think for myself, not to please others. My parents. But most importantly, it helped me realize that doing what's expected of you will only further the ones that pushed you physically. Mentally, you will still be scarred, and during these days, I learned about myself and became comfortable with what I liked and what I wanted to pursue without influence. Either fly high or wing it until you become disinterested. That is what I realized during my time at the Kyokai.